Well, I figure we'll give it a few minutes. If nobody pops in, I'll shut it down. Oh, we got one. Hey, welcome. It's just you and I for the moment, from what I can tell. May give it a couple minutes, see if anybody else pops in, and then we'll go from there. I'm doing good. How about you? It's a day off. I'm enjoying it. Get hot and muggy. I keep joking around with friends I have down in Florida. Tell them to come get their weather. It's lost, and I just found it. I guess it's supposed to be hot and muggy most of the week here. So. Okay, yeah, we didn't get that hot, but we've got the humidity, and of course we're surrounded. Michigan's surrounded by lakes, so we get it from all directions. Uh, but yeah, it rained like crazy last night, and you would have never known it. All the rain did was make it worse. So I'm not a big fan. I can handle the heat. The humidity is what gets me every time. I'm gonna give it about another minute, and then I'll do my thing with what we got, and anybody that missed out on it, they can watch it later. So, all right. Let's see. Last video you did about John Constance, I comment on it. Check out the link. Oh, I definitely will. Definitely will. I'll do that when we get off of here. Uh, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, the guy, I hear he's, the guy I was referring to. I guess he's one that, he will watch other people's videos and then indirectly attack them. And there's a lot of people that have done videos on constitutional, and he made himself look like, well, I'm not going to start calling names because then that doesn't make me any better than him. But he didn't look too bright when he started talking about how, oh, it's too hard to do the math. Oh no, I don't either. But sometimes if some people, if you say constitutional, they look at you like you got three heads. I hate the word junk because but I also understand why they use it. But I don't know. I like constitutional better. But yeah, he made himself look like a something or other when he was talking about how hard it is to do the math. I mean, it's not that hard. it's I'm not the greatest whiz when it comes to math, but even I can do the math for the constitutional silver. So, but and he gets views, and he gets people that actually agree with him, and I don't know. It seems to me like he's trying to start stuff with people, trying to get all people wound up. So cool. Yeah, it's we need all the level-headed, reputable dealers we can get. I know there's some that are all about making the money, however they have to. And, we're fortunate where I'm at. I've got two within. Hey, Cranky, your premiere was awesome, man. That was great. Great mail call. For those of you, the rest of you that are on here, if you didn't watch it, Cranky released a premiere tonight. With some goodies that he received from of our other, some of the other people in the community, and some really cool stuff. So. So anyway, I got I mentioned in a previous video that, I was waiting on some silver to get here, and, it's some cool stuff to me, maybe cool to you too. Oh, you're welcome, Cranky, that without a doubt. We're gonna get you to that 1,000 subscription mark, man. It's coming. I know it is. I can feel it. 2 blinks of an eye, and you'll be there. And I'll even go back to say, you know what, I think you called it your rant. That was like completely and totally spot on, buddy. And it was, it's stuff that needs to be said that a lot of people are afraid to say, about certain things. And, the world we live in nowadays, and I said it before too, the world we live in nowadays, we need to stop being, a political party here, a political party there, and just be American. Life would be so much easier. Just how much we backpedaled over the years, or not backpedaled, but we've fallen back. With the way we treat others, and the way everybody looks at everything, and the fact that there's a lot of people, our generation, we've still got our generations and before, we've got thick skin, and now you can't take a breath without offending somebody, or stuff like that. But I mentioned in a previous video that I was waiting on some silver, and the person, or I should say company that I bought it from, did everything right. And I mean, tracking and all that. And it's one of the cases where the U.S. Postal Service thinks everybody's stupid. They kept the package. Well, they picked up the package, and the seller was able to tell me exactly when they picked up the package. But it sat for almost a week and was still listed as the, hey, 7, that the U.S. Postal Service, they were waiting to receive the package. Well, they had the package, they just didn't scan it into the system. So my package essentially sat in a sorting facility for a week, and the owner of the company that I bought the silver from actually was packaging up a replacement order to send me, which, fortunately we were able to catch it before he sent the second package out, because mysteriously the package appeared in the system. But he was willing to take, what could have possibly been, if only one package made it here, what could have possibly been a $100 hit, in his wallet, to keep the customer happy. And, that's not something you see very often anymore. And what I got, and my fellow 2A supporters will love this. It's a 1 ounce hand poured round. These are both from Pit Bullion. And this one is, if the government says you don't need then you need one. We get those keywords we can't say on YouTube, or else we get flagged. Hey, 007, welcome. I was just telling everybody about the silver I picked up, finally got here. This is 1 ounce, little 1 ounce poured round. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. There's that. And I really like his logo. That dog looks so mean. Or I shouldn't say mean. Kind of looks cranky. He looks cranky. Look, he's cranky. Cranky, is that one of your? Is that one of your fur babies? See, I just want to go up there and boop the snoot. Boop. So, but and then I got another one here that let me see here. This one is the Trump Cowboy. It's another 1 ouncer. I think he looks pretty good. He's got that cowboy hat on. He looks pretty good there. Yeah. And again, it's a 1 ouncer. It's poured. So my hand poured is definitely definitely growing a couple pieces at a time. And he included, hey, Stacker Man. Cool little sticker. I'm gonna throw this one in the binder, in my sticker album there, because I'm sure I'll be buying from him again, and I'll get another one that I can put up on the board there. So, and here we go. We got the here's the card, and that's it. They're both 3/9 fine. So let me see here. And then, there's the information there, the phone number, the website, and I had to say, Michael did a phenomenal job. Customer service was amazing. They could have varied as some other places do. Well, tough. We did our part, but the postal service kind of ticked me off, and they ticked him off too. But he's got some cool stuff. And you can go to his website, or he actually has a thing on eBay. He sells on eBay also. And but a couple great little pieces of silver there. So, and cranky. See, I finally did it, buddy. I took it out and played with it and left it out. That. We're missing Michi Jr. What you mean, Mini Michi or Mini Michi? Because Mini Michi's right there. he's hanging out with our friends here. So hanging out with our friends here, and while my home state vibes going on down here in the front row. Mini. Well, he's watching everybody else because I got him facing backwards so the Michigan's up. And little Michi, he won't be down here again for about what is it? Today's the 30th. He'll be back down here in a couple of weeks because we got to get our yearly redneck on. NASCAR comes to Michigan International Speedway. Yeah, but you know what? I will never catch 7. I'm not even trying. That she is the queen of the poker chip. Let me tell you. If you haven't seen her video, she literally has 7 stacks. So, all right, Cranky. We'll see you in a bit. 7 did a video where she actually had all of her. Yes, exactly. She had all her poker chips stacked up, and I just. And 7, if you're still here, I really hope you know I was only joking when I did the whole throw my hands up in the air and say I give up. Because, we'll never catch you. We can try. It's a challenge, but we'll never catch you. So, but I figured I'd put some of the Michigan stuff out there out front tonight. Is she the one that has a 360-degree rotating tower of chips? You know what? I don't know, but she literally had 7 stacks of poker chips going in her video, and she kind of did I call it like almost like she had a mini drone flying over them. doing a video of them. So it's there's a lot of chips there. So I'm slowly but surely, getting them as we go along. And again, I throw my hands up in the air when it comes to the postal service because I mean, I sent the asset stacker. I'm getting close to 100 somewhere. You know what? It looked like a lot more than 100. You did some pretty cool camera work there because it looked a lot more than 100. I'm planning on doing a second one, but I'm not going to do it until I hit 500 because I'm gonna do something based around 500 subs on my next one, and I want to be able to date it. So that won't be coming until that happens. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm going to do some kind of a giveaway. Well, you know what? Okay, if I pronounce this wrong, I'm sorry. Ogre. Email me your address. I'll get you a set of mine out there. I'll get you a poker chip and a couple stickers out to you. Yeah, just my email's in my channel description. So, go ahead, shoot me an email with your mailing address. I don't put anybody's email or mailing addresses out there. Yeah, I don't. Okay, cool. I don't put anybody's mailing addresses out there. If we correspond, I cover up especially because a lot of us, I don't have a post office box yet. I'm trying to convince myself to spend the money to do it. So when I send you something, it's my home address on the envelope, and then if it's your home address, I cover it up if I'm putting an envelope on camera. Just for everybody's privacy. The people that need to know. People that need to know already know, and it is what it is. So I keep that stuff locked up tight. But yeah, they let's see, what was I? Yeah, let's see. Let's see, 1, 2, 4. Oh, what I was gonna say is I sent the asset stacker my first sticker when it first came in. That was back in May. And then in June, my second sticker came and my poker chips came, and I sent him those also. And the envelope that I sent in May got there the same, right around the same time. Tuli! Hi! And yes, to answer your question from the other night, yes, I do work midnight shift all the time. That's my shift. But yeah, Asset Stacker got my envelope I sent in June and the envelope I sent in May. Literally I think about the same day or a couple days apart. So it took forever for that first one to get there. The second one caught it. So yeah, they Postal Service, they're kind of goofy. And again, like I said in the video, I don't blame the letter carriers. I don't blame the people at the local post offices. I blame the distribution centers or sorting centers or whatever. Especially what they did with my order that I finally got today. Postage goes up and we start having problems again. So, but yeah, Ogre, just email me your address. I'll get it out to you. I got to run to the post office tomorrow morning anyway. Or tomorrow late morning, early afternoon anyway. So I will do up an envelope and get it out to you. So, but yeah, I figured I'd do my home state backdrop here in the background. I've showed pretty much all this before, and I know this. Some people don't like copper, but these are actually, we got these for my several years ago. I mean, he was young, up in the UP, and he came back a few months ago and says, "Hey, Dad, you know what? I'm not really into the whole copper thing anymore. You want these?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want them. They're from Michigan." So Yeah, we got Tequamanon Falls, the Mackinac Bridge, and the Michigan black bear, very prominent in the Upper Peninsula. He's on that third one, and then all of them. Let me see here. Have the Upper Peninsula on the back, and or as most of us from Michigan, especially those of us that have been there, that's God's country up there. It's everything slows down when you cross the Mackinac Bridge. You get where you're going when you get there when you get there. You get back when you get back. Nobody's in a hurry. Everybody looks out for everybody, and it's good stuff. So, I got everybody popping in. So, and I already put these back in the bag. For those of you that just got here, I showed off to everybody. I got a couple of, let's see how well these show up through the bags. Got a couple of 1 ounce pours from Pit Bullion. There's the Trump Cowboy, and here's the if the here, I might have to take this one out of the, or maybe it's going to clear. If the government says you don't need one, then you need one. And those certain words we can't say on here, but I thought those were pretty cool. Picked them up, and like I was telling everybody earlier, for those of you that weren't here, Pit Bullion, they went above and beyond because we had an issue with the Postal Service, and my package, the original package that was supposed to be shipped, I ordered it, let's see, a week ago this past Friday, and according to the Postal Service, they still hadn't received the package a week later. So I simply, not being nasty, not being mean, I sent them a message. It's like, hey, you guys having problems with the Postal Service out there? And I almost immediately got a reply from the owner. It's like, yeah, we're having a lot of problems. They're out in Las Vegas. So, and, I know I'm repeating myself for some of you, but for everybody that wasn't here yet, this guy was willing to, and I know it may not seem like a lot of money to some, but, it does to me. He was willing to take $100 hit, with, I was like number 10 for tax purposes. He was going to ship me out a brand new package, and hey, if the first one gets there, it gets there. If not, you're still going to get your stuff. And, I have obviously told, we were able to stop it before he got the second package in the mail. But he was willing to do that. And that's, you don't see a lot of companies that are going to, that'll do something like that. So, I'm definitely going to be ordering some more stuff from them. There's their phone number, email, the website. They do have a store on eBay. There, I finally spit the word out. All their stuff is 3/9 fine. And I know I'm going to be ordering from them again. So there, I even put a sticker in there. This one's going to go in the sticker album. I'm sure I'll get another one here next time I order. So I got some walleye fillets. I'm in the South and we do not have walleye. Well, hey, I don't know if you were here for my last one where, between her live stream and mine, Tully couldn't believe that I had never been to a Lions game. Well, I went through the thing of, I've been to Tiger games, I've been to 8 Pistons game, I've been to a bazillion Wings games, but I spend my money about 25 miles south now because it's a lot cheaper and it's a lot more fun because, you're right on top of the action. And be honest with you, the NHL has a lot of really idiotic rules now that the ECHL doesn't have, and our ECHL affiliate for the Red Wings is the Toledo Walleye. And if you follow hockey at all, Red Wings games, people are notorious for throwing an octopus on the ice whenever the Wings do something really good, like they score a goal or, you know, they win the the fight or whatever. Well, down in Toledo, when the Walleyes score their first goal, there's one particular person that's allowed to do it. Everybody else, they'll get walked out of the arena. You got one particular person down there that is allowed to do it. He goes down and throws a walleye out on the ice, and yeah, it's kind of gotten to be a tradition down there. So yeah, walleye is good, and if you, oh man, you can get it down south. That's good stuff. So yeah, it's oh goodness, ow. Okay, there we go. Had to stretch. But yeah, it's I was gonna put out a video on Sunday, and things got a little crazy around the house here on Saturday, and literally, I went back to work. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I grew up watching one of his teammates, but I go back with the guy all the way to the Edmonton Oilers when he started out, which was Paul Coffey. He won a couple of cups there in Pittsburgh with Mario and Yager and all those guys. And there's a few of those guys around those cup championship teams that ended up here in Detroit. Doug Brown, Bob Airy, Paul Coffey. I want to say there might have been one other, but I can't remember. But and at one point here in Detroit, we actually had one of the guys from the 1980 Olympic team that that beat Russia and went on to win the gold. For you youngsters that aren't old enough to remember that, he played for Detroit before he retired, and so we've had some pretty good talent come through. Yes, exactly, the Miracle on Ice. Thought I'd love to stay, but I need my phone to record. No problem, Tully. Thanks for popping in. We'll see you soon. Yeah, we had some great stuff. I'm waiting for puppies. I'm patiently waiting for puppies. So if you guys haven't seen it, haven't watched any of the puppy videos, you gotta stay up on Tuli's channel. She does a lot of really cool, lives where we get to see puppies, puppy therapy. One night I was on my lunch break and we were having a bad night at work, and I go on my phone and puppies. So they are the cutest things in the world, and Mama is so sweet. Oh my goodness, I just want to adopt them all. I don't have room for them, but I want to adopt them all. And even, or she's been training them a little bit, and Mama Dog knows what she means when she says, "Get my six," and the dog immediately turns around, goes between her legs, and's facing behind her, watching what's going on behind her. And then there was another video where she told her to smile, and she smiled. So that was like cool stuff. So, and I do understand to need the phone to record, because that's how I do mine. I'm doing it on my my ancient phone, as it's been called by some. But yeah, so yeah, but we've got the Toledo Walleye down there, which is the hockey team, and then about a block away, Silent Silver. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. And about a block down the road, or down the street, we've got the minor league affiliate for the Detroit Tigers, the Toledo Mud Hens. I think you guys watch MASH. Klinger, that was his thing, even though the producers of the show got it wrong. And when you saw Klinger and a couple times, I'm drawing a blank now. the oh, the Colonel. He wearing their hats with the T on it. Those were actually Texas Rangers hats. They do make a Toledo Mud Hens hat similar to that, but those were Texas Rangers ball caps. But they did get the jerseys right. And if you remember in there, if you remember in there, he would get on the phone, he'd be bartering for stuff, and he kept asking about the chili, the Tony Pacos chili. Yes, Tony Pacos is a real place. The original one is not far from the ballpark, and then they've got one right across the street from the ballpark. So, it's some of that was real. So, and you know what? Let me see here. Let me see if I can scroll back. All right, Chad, if you could have one bullion coin for the rest of your life, what would it be? Culture of Currency's asking. Let's give Culture of Currency some answers. So if I could only have one bullion coin for the rest of my life. Friend grew up with that. Man, that's a hard question to answer because I've got too many favorites. I don't know which one I would want to keep versus the rest that I would want to give up. Wow. I'm kind of partial to the silver maples. If we're talking bullion coin, I would have to say probably my silver maples, like the 2018 and newer, because I know I do have some older ones, older than that. Here, let me see. I'm stepping about 2 feet away from you here for a second. Let me grab something. And let's see. All right, here we go. Now I'm back within earshot of the camera. All right, let's see here. I don't. You know what? For those of you that don't know, I grew up in the city of Detroit, and God, you know what? I know I'm not the only one, but I love that sound. I grew up on the southwest side of Detroit, literally, 5 minutes from the Ambassador Bridge, which basically goes from Detroit over to Windsor, Ontario. And we also have the tunnel in downtown Detroit that goes over to Windsor, Ontario. And we would go over, and I know this is going to sound silly, but it's the things you do for family when you're close. Yes, it is. My grandparents on my mom's side came from Scotland, and there were these cookies, and this is going to sound really silly, but even nowadays when I think about the tins that those cookies came in, I don't think of cookies. I think that's where Grandma stashed all her sewing supplies, those metal cookie tins. But anyway, Grandma had these particular, cookies from the UK that she loved. Oh, culture, blue tins, purple tins, red tins, tins with kittens, tins with puppies, tins with flowers, tins with windmills, tins with pictures of the Highlands of Scotland, pictures of downtown London, you name it. They were on these tins. They were the big square tins, not the little itty bitty ones you see in the store now. But the only place that we could get them, short of somebody getting on a plane and flying to the UK, they had a little wafer paper that held the cookie. Oh yeah. short of going, somebody getting on a plane and flying over to Scotland, England, wherever, over in the UK, uh, they had them in Windsor, and usually, once every couple of months, Mom and I would get in a car, and this was obviously long before 9/11, where you had to bring your whole life history documented by the government with you across the border. Um, we'd go across the Ambassador Bridge, go have lunch somewhere. There were a lot of good restaurants over there, and there was a grocery store chain over there called A&P. It was here in the States too, but all the A&Ps had become in the States had become a different grocery store chain that they merged with. And we would go over to A&P and get those cookies. Well, I know what you're talking about. My mother and my wife's grandma love those tins. Yeah. Oh yeah. When my grandma passed away and we started cleaning out her stuff, she had probably 200 of those tins. 198 of them were empty, but the 199th and 200th one were full of sewing. Sewing stuff. Spools of thread and extra buttons and you name it. But we would go over there, and I was always mystified as a kid because I didn't know what an exchange rate was. And, at the time, my mom would buy all these cookies, and they'd ring her up, and okay, that's going to be, I don't know, $29.50. Well, she'd hand them a 20 and get change back. And of course, that change was always in Canadian currency, Canadian bills, Canadian coins. And she would find some way to spend all that before we got back to the bridge. And I mean, literally, you could stand in the parking lot at A&P, and the bridge was right there. So it's like we had to go zigzagging around Windsor to spend all that Canadian money before we. It's like, Mom, this is cool. Why can't we keep it? Well, you can't spend it at home. Well, no, you're right. We couldn't spend it here. But I think that's part of what started my fascination with Canadian. And I like the Canadian 80% silver. I've got some 50% silver, but and here, okay, there's 2018, and this was the first year, if I remember right, that they went to the modern security features that we know now. On the yeah, what? I don't have a Calgary dollar, but I eventually will someday. I've got the well, they're both 50%, but I've got the RCMP anniversary from 1973, key date, birth year, and then I've also got the okay, over here we say Regina, over there they say Regina. So whichever way you want to say it, it's got the steer skull on it, and it's really cool looking. Now, and see, I have some of the older ones, but I kind of like the newer version. This is let me hold on, let me look here before I say something and guys think I can't read numbers. There's a 1988, and that I see the and I understand they changed her portrait on all their coinage, not just their silver, but it's older, looks like the older stuff, and see, it doesn't have a privy on it. It doesn't have I call it the swirlies that you have on the newer ones. But yeah, I would have to say if there was only one that I could keep, that would be a 2018 or newer silver maple. Like here, even here's 2011. They changed the portrait, but it's still, and you can see this one, it's getting a little worse, but it's this one's milk spotted, and I know they had some problems, just like the Royal Mint over in the UK with things spotting. But again, there's no privy, no real security features on this one. Yeah, and I got this from I got these from a silver dealer, so I know they're real. Because he tests everything. He's got the oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. The machine that everybody's got. 365's got one, and some other places have them. And then, again, here's 2018 when they started, putting security features into it, making it a lot harder to. Thank you. Yes, the Sigma machine. Um, but yeah, it's you can, and it gets. You see, there you go. I finally got it to work. Where you see where the light kind of spins on it. And but yeah, I would have to say the Canadian maple. I've got nothing against like the Britannia. I've got nothing against the American Silver Eagle. I just there's just something that always draws me in when it comes to the the silver maple. But yeah, it's that would be my choice. Find the Rugas. Yeah, I actually like the kangaroos. It's just they're, and maybe it's just my area here. We can't find them. So I I like the ASEs. It's just it's been I don't know when they started messing with the premiums on the Silver Eagles. It got to the point where I didn't even want anything to do with them because it was cheaper to and I'm American to the end, but they made the premiums so high. Um, yeah, it's that's what a lot of people. I kind of like them both. I don't know. I the thing I don't like about the Type Two is if you're gonna put an eagle landing or I say coming in for a landing, or I don't like to say come in for attack, but it's almost looks like he's coming in to grab something. Um, show the whole thing. Don't clip the wings off. Maybe make that eagle a little bit smaller, and I don't know. It's, but I do like them both. I mean, it's American. It's just when they start messing with the premiums, and it's more expensive for you to buy something from your homeland than it is for you to buy something from, like in my case, from across the river, or from like a kangaroo or a philharmonic, or the silver maple or whatever. I'm right here in this country, and I have to pay more for stuff in this country than I do for stuff that came from over yonder. It's that was the main thing. It kind of put a bitter taste in my mouth about the Silver Eagles. I mean, I do have one. Um, it's just, but and actually, when the premium started to drop a little bit on the Silver Eagles, I mean, those things were even hard to find around here. Uh, for a while. And like I said, I've got one. And I bought an empty tube, and I'm kind of adding a little bit here, a little bit there. I did set a goal to fill this up by the end of the year. I'm lagging behind. Um, I'm not setting any goals for the Silver Eagle tube, but I do have a tube of that. I've got a tube for you know uh, the Britannias, and I just a little bit here, a little bit there, and I kind of got sidetracked here with all the hand poured stuff. Just it's cool stuff to have. And obviously the hand poured. That's not going anywhere. That's I'm gonna have to get a bigger box here pretty soon because let me see here. Culture Currency, thanks for stopping in, my friend. We'll see you next time. I've got that wooden cigar box there hiding behind those two little baby treasure chests. That's got my hand poured in it, and pretty soon I'm gonna run out of room in there. So, it's I mean, sorry for shaking. Oh, you know what? I forgot. You like junk silver? I do, but um, and this is some a good thing that, or a good point that Stateside made, um, is that there's pros and cons to junk silver, um, and especially in a situation where, and somebody brought this up where on Stateside's channel that they bought a roll of 90%. It was supposed to be 90%, you know, uh, constitutional silver, blah blah blah, from one of the, and I'll refer to them like I refer to stores, the big box store, precious metals dealer, online precious metals dealer, and you open those rolls up, and you might have one or two that are really good shape, and then you get the ones that are worn down where you can't read the year, you can barely see, and this is for quarters, but it applies to all of them, but I'm just using the quarters as an example. They're worn down so bad that you can't see Washington's portrait on the obverse, and you flip it over and you can barely see the eagle and the lettering on the reverse. So you've lost silver, just like you've lost silver, you've lost weight, because they're worn down. This morning, I don't know if you saw my video this morning. Let me grab these. I'll pull them out again. Let me step over here again. I should just bring this thing over closer to me so I don't have to. Pardon the noise. If they're, it's not gonna make noise. I've got like two Standing Liberty quarters that are just, they're demolished. And yeah, they've got silver in them, but there's nowhere near as much silver in them as there was when they came out of the mint. You know, I see here it's worn down. You can't see the year on it. You know, you can barely see anything. I mean, I can make out of America, but not United States, and you know, you can see dollar, the top half of dollar on the reverse. So my thing with constitutional / junk silver is if you're gonna do that, and I think it's great for somebody that's starting out, somebody that's, you know, stacking on a budget, and there are a lot of people that are doing that right now because our economy, pardon the expression, everybody, our economy sucks. I say if you're gonna do this and you're gonna stack junk silver, find a dealer. Okay, and I understand there's a lot of people that they live out in the middle of nowhere. They live out in the middle of nowhere. They've hey, pocket change inspector, welcome in. They don't have a local coin shop near them, so they're kind of out of luck that way. Now, and again, I'm not going to press anything. It's just my thought, and you know, something that I do. I'm not trying to push any websites or apps or any of that on anybody, but I've had a lot of luck on Whatnot because you got a lot of dealers. They're held to a very strict standard how they sell, what they sell, and the sellers that I deal with on a regular basis, they're not going to sell you something they wouldn't buy themselves. And in addition to Whatnot holding them to a higher standard, they hold themselves to a higher standard. And say, now here's a let me see, it's a, where'd it go? There's a 64. So yeah, I know, Starry Night, it's ridiculous. Newsom taxes you just for waking up in the morning. I totally get it. So here's a 64 quarter, and you know, I mean, heck, that thing looks better than some of the modern stuff I've got sitting around, you know, clad or otherwise. But find yourself a reputable dealer, or if you can find a couple of one or two places on Whatnot, you know, they're dealers that, you know, they want to expand out to the people that don't have a dealer. And you know, I can't wrap my mind around buying a roll of barbers are not good for stacking because of lost silver. Right, exactly. I think everybody should get a few. Yeah. I have, as far as barbers go, I have, oh gosh, let me see. See, now you got me thinking there. Let me see, where to go, where to go, where to go. Oh, here we go. I pulled my little box that I keep everything in, you know, over closer so I don't have to go walking away and I sound like I'm 10 miles away while I'm talking to you. Oop, there we go. I'm dropping. See this? There, let me see here. Let me scroll down here for a minute. Yeah. Eric Cranky, I bet this is what you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah. They're slick. I mean, yeah, you can kind of make out what's there, but you know, there's a barber quarter. You know, again, you know, you can barely read. You can barely read what's there. You know, I've got a few of them, and you know what? I basically these I just, you know, I've got little key dates that are key to me that you know aren't necessarily key to collectors or whatever. And most of my barbers are, you know, I get the older ones, you know, the year my grandfather was born, the year my grandma was born, you know, the grandparents that I actually knew. You know, let's see, somebody mentioned barber dimes. I've got four of those. Look out. You know, again, not one that I'm busting tail to try to fill a tube of, but you know, here's one that you know it looks pretty good for its age, and this one it's a here let me it's a 1916, so you know it's over 100 years old. I do too. I do too, Cranky. You know, there's a 1916, and you know, okay, now it's gonna start blurring out on me. Let me do this. Let me get my other hand over here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it looks pretty good for its age. You know, it's over 100 years old. You know, and you can still read the reverse. You know, one dime. But then let me see what we got here. Is this one? Well, this one is okay. This is me not wanting to admit that I need bifocals, everybody. Then here's here, let me get my fat thumb out of the way. Here's a 1901. Okay, now this one's got a little more wear to it. It's, you know, it's not as easily seen, but you know, and then you know the reverse, it's not as crisp and clear as the other one. And I thought I had one in here that was like really bad. Yeah, here's another one it's all toned up, but it's you know you can tell even you know if you take the four of these and let me get them together here. You know you hold them up, sideways. Okay, here we go. You hold them up sideways. You know it's there. You can see a difference in the thickness of the four. Let me flatten them out here. Okay, now there. Let's try it that way. You know, there's a difference in the thickness, so you know there's some silver that's been lost there. But again, you know, like Cranky said, you know, it's historical. You know, it's and let's see, somebody said something about Mercs. You know, there's you know, I've got my Mercuries. You know, I'm slowly filling the tube, filling a little bit at a time. You know, that's and see the big thing around here, and you know, I understand why they do it, but it's we've got, and of course, you know, I've got the silver rosies, you know, Roosevelts, but a lot of the places around here you can't buy, like say, hey, you know what, I want a dollar face of Mercury dimes, or I want a dollar face of, you know, pre-64 Washington quarters, or you know, or pre-60 Washington quarters, because they don't sell them that way. They sell, you got to buy the whole roll, and you know that kind of defeats the purpose of stacking on a budget. But the place that I mentioned in one of my videos here, let me put him down there because I know he's up here. No, we'll back up a little bit. There we go. There, we got him in the picture for you. So, and oh, here, let me get this out of the way. This is my. If any of you saw the video where, are you in Canada or U.S.? I am in Michigan. I'm about 35 minutes south of downtown Detroit, and about 25 minutes north of Toledo, Ohio. So, I'm in, oh, you know what? While I'm thinking about it, hey, and I don't ask for this very often, but, you know, we've had some really messed up stuff happen down here in the county I live in, the last few days. Today there was a pretty bad fire about 5 miles from here, and by the time the fire was under control, they had sent 17 firefighters to the hospital with heat-related illness, and one firefighter was injured. So if you're religious, whatever religion you are, whoever you pray to, send up some prayers for them. Canamish. Send up some prayers for them, or, you know, if you're not the religious type, just send some positive thoughts their way. The firefighter that was injured, they say he's in stable condition. He's going to be fine, but he's just, you know, he's going to be out of commission for a while. And, you know, of course, suspicious origin of fire. You know, again, goes back to the world we live in. I heard Dogman is in Michigan. Starry, let me tell you about Dogman. Rumor has it that he's up in the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, playing euchre with Sasquatch. And there are people that will actually go on vacation with the intent, been there on site to help, prayers for certain. Yeah, we've got Cranky. We've got an amazing. Oh, cool. Doing a go, which includes Merc Dimes. Oh, Merc Dimes are always great. Oh, always good stuff. You can't go wrong with that. We've got on a completely and totally amazing first responder set. I know what you meant, Cranky. I know. We've got some of the finest local police officers, county sheriffs, deputies, state troopers assigned to the Monroe Post, and every single firefighter in the area. We've got a lot of volunteer departments down here, paid on call departments. We've only got one department in the general area that's a full-time department, and that's the city of Monroe. Literally everybody went to this fire today. I've seen firsthand their work. Here in our subdivision, we had a family that lost their house on Christmas Eve. And I mean, it just, you know, it's bad enough that it was Christmas Eve, but not only the community, but all these firefighters that responded made sure that the kids had a Christmas the next morning. And you know, I could go on with a 9-mile long list of the departments that responded that day. Also, I don't know if it actually, it may have made the national news. It may not have made the national news. This fire today was about 5.5 miles south of me, and about 3.5 miles east of me. Back in the spring, there was a horrific accident over here in the town that I live in, where a woman who, we had a lady that should not have been driving, got behind the wheel of her car, left the bar, got behind the wheel of her car, and decided to drive home. Well, she drove right past her house and through the wall of the boat club, the clubhouse at a boat club that she lived like 3 doors down from, and killed 2 young children when she ran them over. And I won't go into details about how badly she destroyed lives. But our even the in Michigan, we have a state conservation officer assigned to each county, and even the state conservation officer responded to the call for help. But our conservation officers, our state troopers, our sheriffs, our local police, Monroe Community Ambulance, all the fire departments that responded. We've got an amazing group of first responders in our area, and and I know the modern day is nobody likes the police, but if you I always yeah, me too. The only other thing I hated worse than those was when you have to make notifications. I hated those, and they claimed I was good at it, and I don't know how I was good at it because it's the thing I hated the most. But the just these people run toward everything that you run away from. Our firefighters run into burning buildings and building collapses and stuff like that as everybody's running out. They're responding to car accidents where they're dealing with mangled cars and mangled bodies and having to cut people out of cars. And then you got the medics that have to try to save their lives on scene and on the way to the hospital. You've got the law enforcement officers that are usually the first ones on scene that can't unsee everything they see. So I'm just asking, lift them all up in prayer, or just send some positive thoughts their way, because this world we're in right now is just ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. I did a post not this past weekend before, little small town here in Michigan, city of Melvindale, lost a police officer. He's a 1-year veteran. He was the cop you wanted coming when the poop hit the fan. He was all about the neighborhood. He was all about the city, all about the people in it, anything to help. He was the guy that would be driving down the street, and your grandma's sitting on her front porch and she looks lonely. He would stop and talk to her, keep her company for a little while. There's nothing going on. Everything's chill in the city tonight. Let's get out and do some community relations. Not because he had to, not because he was ordered to, because that was the way Mo was. And he was killed responding to a fight call at a gas station. Got out of the car, they were breaking it up. One guy bolted, he took off after the second guy, came around the corner, and that's all she wrote. And it's kind of rough for those of us that have been around for a minute when you realize, I sit back and realize that, hey, he was young enough to be my kid. He could have been my son. It's rough. So I just send some positive thoughts, first responders in your area, it's just things are really hard for them right now. But okay. Happy thoughts. Yeah, no, somebody said something about I live in Canna, Michigan. Well, if I went over to my old neighborhood and walked down to the waterfront, I could probably yell and have somebody over on the Canadian side of the Detroit River hear me. And they're building a second bridge between Detroit and Windsor. This is going to be ridiculous when it opens, because it's basically going to filter onto Interstate 75. They're just south of downtown Detroit, and we're already nuts with trucks going from Canada to down south, and you add that extra bridge and extra trucks, and oh man, it's going to be a nightmare. But hey, we got to do what we got to do to pay the bills. So, but oh, let me see. Oh, you know what? Let me see. While I'm thinking about it, because we were talking about Canadian silver there for a minute, and let me see. I got. This feels like show and tell in grade school. That's the one I was talking about, the 82 Regina, depending on what side of the river you're on over here. You know, that's one of my favorites. And yeah, it's only 50%, but you know, it's one of my favorites. And then of course, you know, my background and you know, I've always had, I know my Canadian friends may not agree with me. I've never had a bad run-in with the RCMP. You know, and this is 1873, or I'm sorry, yeah, 1873 to 1973. It's one of the anniversary. It's the 50% silver dollar. You know, but those are my. I've never had a bad experience with law enforcement. Nothing but respect for our officers. Well, you know, Ogre, it's I. You know, when I say that, talking about like in this case, talking about the RCMP, they can be grumpy. They're kind of like our Michigan State Troopers. There's not a whole heck of a lot of them that have a sense of humor. And but again, you know, I've never had a problem with them. And mind you, I haven't been across the border since before 9/11. Thanks, Cranky. I haven't been across the border since before 9/11. Hey, Mike, same to you. Happy Tuesday. I've never had a problem with them. Never had a problem with OPP. Never had a problem with Windsor. Actually, when I was still working, we did a lot of oh, how do I put this? We did a lot of cool stuff with Windsor PD, and actually at one point we were actually working with they're cranky because they live in Canada. I've got friends in Canada. They're not cranky. They get a little grumpy every once in a while, but you know they're having the same political problems over there that we're having over here. They're not real fond of their prime minister and his shenanigans, and you know, blatant. He doesn't even try to hide it. You know, just like old Sleepy Joe doesn't try to hide it over here. But yeah, we even had a time there where we were going over and sitting in the booths with Canadian Customs, because we knew all the not so law-abiding citizens that were coming over from Detroit to do their less than legal stuff over in Canada, and all we had to do was tap the customs agent on the shoulder, and they would flag the car for search. And you know, we said that made for a lot of comical Friday and Saturday nights on the Ambassador Bridge. So, but no, there are some and I've always had a kind of, well, since I went into law enforcement, I've always had kind of a love for the RCMP, because when we would lose an officer in the line of duty, they were the first ones on the phone and coming across the border wanting to know what they could do to help, what we needed. And man, when they show up, not trying to make light of a police funeral, because it's a very humbling experience attending one. Man, when they show up, you know it, because there's usually 30 to 40 of them in their crimson blouses and their tan campaign hats, and they got the little metal taps on their boots, so that's what you hear. You hear tick, 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 and here they come. And if you're in their way, they'll run you over and keep walking. So, But let's see. I got to, there's, I think, let's see, is this the one? Yep, this is the one. I think this is the one. Yeah, it is the one, because the other one I got doesn't look this good. I think, Cranky, I think this is the one you sent me, the Canadian quarter. So, but yeah, I remember, oh man, when I was a kid, the people that would just, oh my gosh, lose their minds because they get a piece of Canadian, and yeah, this is a 1943. They would lose their minds getting Canadian change in their change whenever they buy something over there in the old neighborhood. It was like, I'll take it. So that started at a young age, but yeah. So let me see here. Oh, you know what? Thule got out of here before I got to mess with her about this. If you guys follow her, you might have seen the video where she was talking about saving the pull tabs from pop cans or Red Bull cans and stuff like that. And is there a, you know what? That I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm gonna have to see what I can find out. Is there an 82 Canadian dollar with a moose? You know what? I honestly don't know. What did I do with? Oh, here I tucked it away already. See, the one I've got, the $82 that I've got is. See, I don't know how many they put out a year, if they put out like more than one design, but that's the 82 that I have, and it's 50%. So, and I think most of their stuff was either 80%, 50%, or sterling 925. But I'm gonna have to look into that now, because now you got my yep, there you go. Could be. See, now you got me wondering. I'm gonna have to go looking. I watch these Border Patrol shows. Oh, amazing the stuff some people are. Oh, you're not kidding. Even if you go back and look at some of the old, if you can find them, there was a show on back in the 90s. And of course, obviously, I don't know how old everybody is. So if I talk to you like I think you're a kid, I no offense. But there was a show on back in the 90s called Real Stories of the Highway Patrol. And I want to say it was the Texas Highway Patrol pulled over a car and something just didn't feel right. And this guy barely spoke any English, but he had a Border Patrol ball cap hanging on the little hook in the back seat. And something didn't feel right to the troopers, so they call out a canine, and oh man, the dog didn't even get up to the car and it was already hitting. And when they got this thing they got a warrant, they go and they start tearing the car apart. These guys, and the first sign that they had that something wasn't right, other than this guy speaking very broken English and having a Border Patrol ball cap, was the weights, the weights on the rims around the tires. I mean, there was just stupid amounts of weights. And they're like, all right, now the dog hit on the car. They seize the car, or they take custody of the car, everybody in it, and they get it to an inspection garage. Warrant comes in. They start tearing the car apart. They take the tires off, and they literally had the tires of the cars packed with marijuana. That was before they started decriminalizing it in certain states. A long time ago. I mean, heck, I think I was still in high school when that show was on. Normal issue 82, 50% included buffalo skull in the canoe. Okay, buffalo skull. I thought I was calling it a steer. So I just learned something. Cool. Okay. See, now I got to look at it again. Me and my old eyes, I'm seeing a steer skull with. I'm seeing a steer skull with the Parliament on it. That's I thought, yeah, that's I don't know. You know, it's one I don't remember seeing. I'm gonna have to look for it now. So, yeah. Oh, you know what? Oh, I can't remember who it was that was asking me. Could be steer. Just what I thought. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I see one thing and then find out later it's something totally different, something else, or you know, they say, well, you don't see this, you don't see that. No, I don't see it. And then somebody points it out to me, and it's like, okay, I feel stupid now. It's just, um, oh, let me see. Um, Sorry, guys, if I start talking to myself, it's just, you know, me being me. um, Another thing, yeah, that's what I thought too. But you know, or you know, anything's possible nowadays. See, here's something else. When we were talking about constitutional, and I showed this morning in my. Okay, okay, yeah. See, you know what? I got to go looking for it now. See, you piqued my interest. I got to go looking for it. So we were talking about the constitutional, and you can kind of see it here too. These are all walkers. Um, and you know the different thicknesses. So with your constitutional, yeah, you're gonna you just got to watch what you're doing. And like I said, most of these I got off of Whatnot. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look around now and or maybe I'll same to you. I'm gonna have to look around and maybe, you know, drop a line to Canadian Silver Seeker, because I mean that guy finds all the really cool stuff. You know, when he goes over to see his LCS, and I know he's working on filling a bank bag full of 80% quarters. So, well, yeah, I was gonna say, Thule got out of here before I got to mess with her about this. She did the video about saving the pop tops, and you know she's melting them down and making stuff out of them. And I don't know how many of you saw that, but see, this is you know this started its life as the pull tabs or the pull thingies on the top of pop cans and Red Bull cans and all that good stuff. And yeah, it's aluminum, but it's cool to look at. It's art, man. It's turning trash into treasure. You know? So I was gonna tell her, at the rate I'm going, it'll be pretty soon. She'll be getting another package. You know, I even marked it. You know, there's my red Solo cup full of Thule Mellows. So if you haven't seen that video, go back, go look for it. It's kind of cool. So when she did her first aluminum pour. So, all right, let's see. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Skipper AK, Newman's Guru. Yep. Cranky one. T-Bird, welcome in. I literally caught your comment, but not who it was when I said, "Hey." So, yeah. Oh, you know what? We'll do this real quick. Let me move this out of the way. So you may have seen in one of my videos, I did a little quick run around here on my backdrop, and this be kind of a cool story, super cool story regarding first responders. And that was, I'm going to get up here, right above Cranky and Zoltan. Where were you? Or we were here, where were you? Yes, that is a real place. back during the 07-08 recession, up in this small town of Clare, Michigan. Everything was financial chaos, and the owners of the Clare City Bakery were like, "Hey, you know what? We got it on the market. If we don't sell it by this day, we're shutting it down. We're done." And they already had in that town. If you go down Main Street, all mom and pop businesses. I mean, the big name business is the gas station. Pretty much everything else is mom and pop. Third, fourth, fifth, eighth generation of a family, owning the business and running the business, at the hardware store, the little corner market and all that. Well, the big money maker for the town was the bakery. And as most first responders are known for, coming to the rescue, the reason they still have a bakery in Clare is the 13 members of the Clare City Police Department that were active at the time. These officers got together and said, "Hey, you know what? If we lose the bakery, we lose the town. We might as well just turn the lights off." And, "All right, Ogre, thanks for coming in. We'll see you next time." They came in and literally saved the town by saving the bakery. They put their little spin on it. It's called Cops and Donuts, but they've pumped a lot of money back into the economy of that small town. And I mean, people literally, they've had people come from all over the world because they've heard about it and want to see it. They're in Michigan for whatever, and they want to see this bakery. And heck, they had a police officer from Africa that got married, and he and his wife came to the United States, to Michigan, on their honeymoon, just to come to Cops and Donuts. And it's kind of cool. It's a neat story of another way of rescuing. Let's see. Let me see. What's it? Michigan Cranky put your stickers and poker chips on some stands today on some videos. Go check it out. I saw that. It's super cool. Super cool. But it was a neat story of watching them not only save a 100-year-old plus business, but also essentially save the town, because when the economy got a little bit better, the town rebuilt around the bakery. And that was kind of cool. And then there's always people that have jokes, about Cops and Donuts. Yeah, well, you know what? We like our donuts. Some of us can't eat them anymore, but we still like them. But yeah, that's where that whole when I said something about I'm gonna have to tell you about that later when I showed that sticker. So, but here, we'll put him back up there. And oh, look at that! There, I'm tearing stuff up. Okay. Anyway, let's get these back up here. Make it look like I'm working. All right, let's see. Sorry, Seven. Sorry, Thule. Sorry, Silverpunk. Here, let's see. Make sure I got it going the right way. Then Kansas Kid. Sorry, man. Kind of knocked you sideways there for a second. Here, we'll get Thule back up here. And World Money Wins. We're going to get you back up here where you're supposed to be. That's what I get for trying to move stuff around live. All right, there, we're going to try that again. So, all right, everybody. You know what? I'm gonna get out of here for tonight. I just want to get on and have a conversation, talk with everybody. Just have some relaxed, because usually when we do our videos, we're trying to get a point across, and sometimes it sounds like we're growling and whatever. So again, everybody, thanks for popping in. We'll do this again soon. And everybody have a great rest of your night. And exactly, Silent Silver. Keep prepping and keep stacking. Yes, sir. All right, everybody, have a great night. And we'll see you soon. Michi's out.